What's funny, people were like, you're going to quit Dell to be a mover?
Right.
Like, they just couldn't get it. I was like, I'm going to own my own moving company one day. The family was, doing good. And I was like, I can do this, It was a job I probably wouldn't even take today, but I was so excited
Got
to
your
get
first
that job. Heck yeah, man. So not only did we get paid, we also got radio play out of the gate. Like,
Heck yeah.
for the first move.
For your first move?
Yeah.
Did they know it was your first move?
That? No, of course not. Of course not. The people you have
Stephen
up here,
Reed just walked
some
in.
of these-
He's kind of a pain, but
Stephen Reed, yep. What's up? Yep.
You're watching Shift Happens Beyond the Boxes, where we take a look at the inner workings of the moving industry.
Hey guys, Jason Bergenske here with Shift Happens Beyond the Boxes. Today I got Chris Knowles from True Friends Moving. Thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, excited to be here. Beautiful place. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, we're actually at Legends Retreat, which is pretty cool. Chris is one of the speakers. He gets to speak tomorrow, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit about how you got in the moving business.
Okay.
Obviously you're in Nashville, right?
Yep.
I guess start off with the start of how you got into the moving business.
You got it. Yep. So I was, climbing the corporate ladder, was always hitting the glass ceiling, was doing good, but, I was always capped. So you can't really hold down like a hungry sales rep, essentially, I really enjoyed it, but I had done moving one summer when in my hometown of Macon, Georgia.
Yep.
And I was like, I'm going to own my own moving company one day. The family was, doing good. And I was like, I can do this, Totally different direction, ended up at Dell, loved it. The timing was right, had enough saved up just to buy a little truck. What's funny, people were like, you're going to quit Dell to be a mover?
Right.
Like, they just couldn't get it. So it was funny. I just took that leap, bought a little truck, and didn't know a thing about running a business.
What year was this in?
This was in 2012.
Okay.
Yep.
So after the recession already, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yep, got it.
So this was our first actual move was like 9/12 of 12.
Got it.
So that was an exciting day. It was a job I probably wouldn't even take today, but I was so excited to
your
get
first
that
job.
Heck yeah, man. What's funny is it was for a radio station. So not only did we get paid, we also got radio play out of the gate. Like,
heck yeah.
For the first move.
For your first move?
Yeah.
Did they know it was your first move?
That? No, of course not. Of course not. Yeah, we always kind of looked and sounded the part.
Yeah.
I mean, even though my truck wasn't wrapped, it was just an old beat up 17-foot U-Haul.
Yep.
My first one. We didn't have branding or anything, but I was professional.
Yep.
And we were friendly, and we did the job. We did a great job.
And you were out on the job?
Yeah,
First
of course.
job? Yeah. So you're out there. So
definitely.
they got phenomenal service.
Yep.
So that was, you said 2012.
Yep.
So 13, 14 years ago.
Yep.
Got it. And kind of where, we go through this usually how the company's evolved. So obviously that's your very beginning. Mm-hmm. You got a pretty good sized moving company now. How many trucks do you guys have, and how many employees?
We just added 23 to the fleet this past week. I took delivery of that.
So number 23,
Yep.
you just added. Awesome.
I ordered it last year, but just got it.
Just showed up.
I signed the contract on it December 31st, believe it or not.
Yep.
But I'm excited. We actually just rolled out a new logo too.
Okay.
So got some new branding rolling out. This will be the first truck with the new logo. I'm super excited.
I actually saw where you had posted on Facebook getting people's feedback on it.
Yeah,
because you had your original one, which was your classic one that you started with. And now you've rebranded it.
And my dog, so it means a lot. But I thought it was just the coolest logo ever. This is before caricatures were trending.
Yeah.
And then that little trend that popped out. I spit mine out, and it actually spit
you're
out
like,
a
holy
better
crap,
one.
what is this?
I was like, whoa! I said that to my graphics guy. I was like, bro, we gotta do something. We gotta take this up a notch. So they made it official. So now moving forward, we'll actually start rolling it out on new stuff. I'm not gonna rewrap all my trucks. But any new trucks, any new print work,
new
things
equipment,
like that.
new stuff.
Absolutely. So that'll be fun, man. I think it'll definitely take off and just have better engagement.
Yep.
Just look friendlier and
that's cool.
More modern.
Yeah, I like it.
Thanks.
And then what, like summertime, how many crews or how many guys you running? Obviously, crews would be 23 around, but but how many?
Summer, this year, so we've added 2 trucks recently. So typically, like last year, for instance, we were in the 15 to 18K a day range.
Yep.
This year, hopefully, we take it up another 2 or 3.
Yep.
We try to accommodate every year and grow a little bit. Which we've always been good at that. Keeping up with demand is really, the only challenge of our growth. We had so much demand in Nashville as the top rated. But having good quality guys trained before peak season hit, that's always the challenge. So right now we're just recruiting like crazy, trying to get everybody trained up because into next month, man, it'll be here.
Obviously you went through the COVID era. How were you? did you grow dramatically during COVID and all that
COVID
time?
was great. It was definitely a time that you didn't know what the heck was about to happen.
First couple months of it, you're like, oh, not good.
We didn't slow down though. A lot of people were, pulling back, and we were pushing forward. Like, it was a great time. Unfortunately, like the rest of everything you bought, prices skyrocketed on everything, including moving.
Yep.
So as far as like the margins that year, they were incredible.
Yep.
And then they kind of stayed that way. Honestly, it's like the pricing didn't go down on anything. Yep. So it helped us have healthier margins and things like that. So it was great for us. Just getting through it. Wearing the mask, of course. It was an exciting, fun, adventurous time that I hope we never have to go through again.
Yep. I agreed. And so, obviously I've seen a lot of, the stuff you post out, which I think some of the stuff you're on the talk tomorrow is about personal brand and relationships with your personal brand and all that stuff, which I think you've obviously done a phenomenal job of.
Thank you.
You want to talk about that just for a couple minutes? Obviously this won't come out till after your speech tomorrow, but
okay, sure.
How important that is.
Just the importance of personal branding. The title tomorrow is moving before your trucks do. Yep. It's like building a name for yourself that precedes you. A big thing that a lot of people in this industry specifically, like, they're really hidden. They don't do it. They don't do a lot publicly.
They hide behind the company.
They just kind of hide. Yep. Yeah, their company is like kind of what they're known for, but people don't really know who they are, what they do, or their story or anything like that. So getting out of my own comfort zone, because that was one of my biggest fears, is being on camera. Goodness.
Sure.
And just the fear of what other people may think was a great hurdle to finally get over.
Yep.
Thankfully now I've got a content team. I'm just like, just drop it. I don't really care anymore as far as like, making sure everything's perfect. I've got that mentality that if it isn't perfect, instead of trying to fix it or something, we'll just like put it on the back burner.
Yep.
So just getting out of my own way, letting my team like rock it and handle their business, man. It's a good place to be. But I didn't start with the team, obviously. Just getting more comfortable on camera, doing speaking engagements, just getting in front of people, talking more. My big thing is just really dropping a post a day.
Yep.
And just watching the algorithms play in your favor. Yep. And now it's like, just being an authority and legend of the industry. I feel like that's really catapulted me to
he said legend of the industry. Look at that. And we're at Legend Retreat. Look at that.
Retreat. Make sure y'all come next year. This place is amazing. Yeah.
No, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's been a fun ride, man. It's always fun to try different things, because sometimes you think something is a hit, and then your audience may not even take to it as much. And some things you think are kind of corny, and it'll go viral. So it's funny how that works, man. So you try to like figure out, what your people like the most, Of course, I try to share a little bit of everything, whether it's something funny, something, family related, doing something for the community, of course, some Q&A, different things to educate. Educate's a big thing too, that people always get value out of. So I love that. And just putting a person behind the brand is a big thing, because, in this day and age, people do business with people they like, know, and trust, making people like just keep me top of mind when they think of moving. They're like, Chris Knowles is the guy for Nashville. So like, man, we get recommended or tagged or, something more times than I can remember. Just sitting down there, I got tagged like 3 different times, which I love that. It never gets old, but to be like the guy for moving in the area, more so than even just the company, like they'll tag me instead of the company, and then I'll introduce myself. And so it's a great way to let people like just learn more about you and know that you're real, that you're not just a logo, because that's really what separates you from the competition. Everybody else just has a logo, phone number.
5% of moving companies are company branded only. There's no personal brand behind it. I think exactly like you said, that people do business with people they know, like, and trust.
Definitely.
I don't think that affects any industry probably as much as the moving industry. Like, you're in people's homes.
You're in their most intimate place settings
that they own, that they have, where their family, where their children sleep, where all that stuff. And if they don't trust the moving company, which there's, in reality, there's some moving companies not to trust.
Right.
But having what you've done and the personal brand and giving the trust, showing your family, showing your, doing community events with your trucks wrapped up, or, with Christmas lights on them for Christmas and all that stuff. it shows you're a real person. It shows the company's owned by a real person, a family man, and all that stuff.
Definitely.
So whether they've met you or not, they feel like they've met you. They have that connection. And
it's kind of scary sometimes, though, when people you don't even know will like meet you and say, "Oh, you did this the other day, or you did this a while
and you're
back."
like, "Wait."
It's like, "Oh, yeah, okay." Well, it's cool. It's just the new, era that we're in, So I don't put like private stuff out there, but I do like to share losses and wins and failures, things like that. Are just as important to know, to show you that you're real. Believe it or not, some of those things are what people can relate to the most, man. When you show that you went through some things, that seems to relate to people.
Here's a word from one of our sponsors.
Running a moving company can be a challenge, especially when it comes to staffing during peak seasons. That's where Lion's Den booking service comes in. We understand the unique needs of moving companies and offer a solution that makes staffing easy and efficient. With Lion's Den, you gain access to a network of reliable professionals ready to assist you at a moment's notice. Our pay-per-minute model allows for flexible scheduling, so you only pay for the time you use. Let us do the hunting, booking, selling for you. And with dedicated support from our team, help is always just a click away. Sign up now and enjoy a 25% discount for the first 3 months of service. Take advantage of this exclusive offer to streamline your operations and maximize your profitability. Join Lion's Den booking service today and revolutionize the way you manage your moving business.
And I think that's really neat. And so, as far as going and building this company, which you've done over the last 14, 15 years, what do you think is one of the biggest things that you can contribute the growth to? I mean, obviously, is it personal brand? Is it the relationships that you've built with people? Is it just...
In the beginning, there's like milestones, In the beginning, I feel like us looking like a big brand when we weren't. We had our website dialed in, our social media was dialed in. That really set us apart when a lot of the other ones at the time, other than the few big franchises, in our market, we really we looked like a national brand pretty much from the start. So that helped. And then we just kind of faked it till we actually made it, and then once we was able to afford having the office, the clothing, the trucks, things like that, and everything got dialed in. Then it was just delivering that excellent service. Of course, the our culture, I feel like, is second to none. In our market at least. I've been to some awesome organizations, but everyone who comes to do like a site visit with us, man, they're blown away about the the environment that we have there. We really take pride in everything looking the part, as far as our colors, our themes, our whether it's our mission statements, whether it's just having things for them to do around the office, team builders. Giving back to our team is probably one of the biggest things we do that I don't really think that other moving companies do in my market. I actually got that from when I worked at Dell. Corporate world, it was like a freaking college campus, man. It was so much fun to work there. I used to enjoy it. It was kind of like hanging out with your friends while you're making money, and that's kind of the environment that I also wanted to embody with True Friends. So I'm glad I was able to carry that over before. This was like before Massaro retreats, Titans, any of these retreats and stuff. So I didn't really know or see what other people were doing. All I could know was what worked at other industries I'd been in. So I'm glad I definitely brought that over, because that's been probably the top thing that I could say is like the biggest contributor for keeping us at the top.
And I think that's a big thing. The moving industry at its core is a tough industry. A lot of moving companies have rough movers. And I think that's a big part of having a successful moving company, is not putting up with the rough movers, expecting and only accepting quality from your guys, and having that ability to be able to spoil them and do extra things for them, which obviously costs you more money. It comes out of your pocket, right? It comes out of the bottom line. But having that forward thinking that you're going to invest more in your team in the long term, which then is going to produce more in the in the long term also. Because
I don't even see it as an expense. That's totally
you gotta take care of them,
and it gives me an ROI, because the smiles, the conversations for weeks after any event we ever have is always worth it. We do say like a Christmas event where everybody will dress in like suits and ties. Some of these guys have never dressed up like in suits and ties or tuxedos. That's cool. To be able to give them that nice, elegant luxury experience experience with their girlfriend or wife.
Yeah.
You know, they love that. Big thing we do every year. So we'll either do like whitewater rafting, or like this past year we did a boat, and we rented a couple of boats, took everybody tubing. Half the guys had never even been tubing, so slinging them around the water.
That's awesome.
That was the most memorable thing for myself, including them.
And I can only imagine they're all busting each other's chops when one of them's falling off, because these are all guys that, you know, there's camaraderie there. But I mean, I think that's a big thing. And, you know, I see it a lot with moving companies where they treat their employees almost like throwaway. And it's a huge mistake. And I think I agree with you that that's a big quality part of your company and what you've built and what you've done. If you don't mind, if we change a little bit or kind of go is facility wise, you've gotten, I know, into mini storages now, but let's kind of talk a little bit as far as like your operation, like your office, I guess, for the moving company. Do you have storage vaults also, or all that kind of stuff?
So I started in my home. I mean, I worked out of my home for about 6 years, honestly. And then I'd rented a little truck yard where I could park my trucks. Like, well, we had about 4 trucks. Actually outgrew that spot, 4 more trucks. In front of these, like, more accidents happened in that little truck yard than ever. And then I ended up renting a little office, like, right next to the truck yard. What's funny, as we grew, like, I rented that. I rented the spot above it. I rented the spot beside that, and it was like, we got to get out of here. Yeah, we got to get out. There was nowhere else to like move to unless we moved to another location. And so I was looking at properties, and probably some of the biggest things that I regret was maybe not getting into real estate sooner.
Sure.
You know, up to that point, like I was saving. You know, I had all the great credit, the capital saved to buy properties, and I remember passing on deals because I didn't know what I didn't know about real estate at the time. You know,
your first one's always the hardest, especially when you're doing your first.
It was hard, man. It was hard to finally take that leap. I mean, at that point, like committing to over $1 million in debt was just scary. You know, scary as because I never came for money personally, but you know, I finally found a property that, you know, checked all the boxes. Super exciting. What's funny, when I bought it, so it was a land, and it had like an older building. I was like, I'm going to renovate this. I'm going to make it my office. We actually bought it, and we couldn't get it renovated. It ended up being like a dilapidated building.
It was real bad.
It was real bad. And then the zoning and everything, I had to go through all this crazy zoning to get it reapproved. Finally went through the process of doing that. At this point, we just kept growing. The property that I bought, I think we were already at maybe 11 trucks or something by the time this thing got approved. We outgrew it. I was like, what in the world? So, this hadn't even been built yet, and we'd already outgrew it. So at that time, I'm actually looking for another property. So back on the market, looking for those, and there was a facility across the street. Same deal, super like dilapidated looking. I mean, it required a lot of work, but it had good bones, you know. It was about 4,000 square feet, and it had a huge yard. It was like a nursery / junkyard. What's funny, I was so excited to like get the property. I was like, you can just leave everything. I'll just do it, you know. I regret that now. It took my guys weeks to clean up that dang property, man, and it was brutal. I'm sure we could have worked out a deal and get it out of there, but you know, I was just so excited. It was right across the street from my current office, and then you know, that was probably about a 6 to 9 month renovation. I mean, so renovating that property, just seeing the value add that took place in that. I mean, from what I bought it for what it is today, I mean, so in just like 5 or 6 years, I mean, that property is like 3x in value. Great property, you know, adding onto it, adding value, add additional structures.
That's where you're currently at still?
Yeah. So that was a huge lot. So ended up buying like an adjoining parcel to that as well. So we have some overflow over there. So yeah, we can accommodate probably about 40 trucks right there right now.
That's cool.
So some of the extra spots I do truck parking for other people. You know, we have dump trucks, diesel trucks. We got different things like that. So got kind of into the storage part of it just through the parking. Because, you know, they'd see all of our trucks, and people would stop by and say, hey, do you have some extra spots? I'm like, sure. Yeah. So that I saw that residual. That was my first time getting a taste of what like storage residuals could look like.
Because at that point you didn't have any regular storage.
And it didn't cost me anything. You know, it's just some parking spots. I'm like, oh wow, I need to have more of these. You know,
straight towards the mortgage. Like that's great.
So that was exciting. And it's funny with the so go back to the other property that I had outgrown. Somehow before I even closed on that one, the adjoining parcel to that one opened up, and it actually had a warehouse. So I was like, I'm not going to pass this up because I know it'll be a freaking gold mine once those two are combined anyway.
Yeah, you have tons of
so I
space
went ahead and snapped up both of them at the same time. And so that was exciting. And that got me into commercial like rental, you know, commercial rentals. So when I picked that up, I was able to rent it out, actually cover the whole mortgage.
That's
you
great.
know, again, in 5 years, that property has probably went up about 2.5 times in value, which is incredible. I mean, Nashville is such a great market. The only regrets for Nashville real estate is not buying it sooner. That's it. You know, I feel like it's just going to keep going up because it is a explosive market. You know, I mean, since then we've gotten. So I bought a storage facility the next year in a like one of our kind of close markets, Clarksville, Tennessee. It's about 40 minutes away. Beautiful property. The owners were just retiring, and they were just looking to, you know, get out of the storage space. They just didn't want to manage it, but they had a trucking company, and was able to work out a deal with them where it was like a purchase lease back. So they didn't even have to leave. I was collecting rent from them day one. It was a cash flowing property like out of the gate. And the best part was it had another 8,000 square foot warehouse like on site. It needed a little repairs, but very minimal. But because, you know, it was probably about 40% full. They didn't have they weren't paying anything for the property that they were in. So like there was just so much value. You know, once you get everything rented out and maxed out, man, that thing, that's probably like my best investment ever, honestly. I wish I could snap up like 10 more of those.
How long ago did you buy that one?
It's actually maturing like in the next 30 days. So I'm about to refi. Like I'm pretty sure if I wanted, I could pull out like a couple of $1 million already just from that. And I haven't done really much with it. I mean, my tenant or my owner improvements were just like, you know, making sure the pavement was good, the gravel was good, new stripes, things like that. But the best thing really about commercial real estate versus some of the other ones is the tenants will actually improve the properties. So I've got you know, the tenants that are in there now, man, they're so awesome to work with. Like, you just don't get calls with those like you do residential.
My toilet's backed up.
You don't get those at all, man. They actually will invest into the property.
Here's a word from one of our sponsors.
Attention, moving company owners. Are you tired of managing your business with spreadsheets and pen and paper methods? Do you want to streamline your operations, increase your bookings, and look more professional to your customers? Then it's time to switch to Move It Pro software. Our cloud-based platform provides everything you need to manage your moving company in one place, from booking and dispatching to payment processing and customer communication. Plus, with features like GPS tracking, real-time notifications, and detailed reporting, you'll be able to optimize your operations and take your business to the next level. So what are you waiting for? Visit www.moveitpro.com to schedule a free demo today and see how we can help you move your business forward.
One of the other ones that I had bought, like a tenant moved in, I think they dropped like $70,000 in property improvement. So, you know, they redid the parking lot, they redid, you know, all the lighting, paint, everything. And it's
that's a good tenant.
That's a great tenant, man. And, you know, I could just name quite a few times of properties over the years that people move in and it just shoots up my property value. Plus, I've got a great tenant. You know, they cover the taxes. They're all triple net being commercial, you know, so I don't have to worry about that as much anymore. And that's definitely my lane. Like I've had some residential rentals over the years, but you know, it's just nothing like the commercial rental. So that's kind of been my focus. Let's see. After that, I mean, I did some flips on like some residential properties. Those were like bust. Those weren't as fun. I was like, I did commercial renovations. I'm going to try this residential renovations. And I think my thing there was where I like went overboard because I was doing everything like I would do it myself. And so like I remember like just skating by, not making anything, but spent like 4 months and more pulling me away from things that actually produce revenue. It was like, all right, I'm never doing residential again. That was horrible. And but sticking back with commercial. But so when I bought the storage facility in Clarksville, it actually had more truck parking.
Yep.
It had, I think, around 18 truck parking spots. They were maxed out. And what's crazy, when I bought that one at the time, I didn't know how important or impactful the need for truck parking was.
Yeah.
And at this point, this was semi parking.
Yep.
So I had no idea that semi
parking.
parking was such a huge demand and a huge problem to not be able to find, especially in like metro areas.
Yep.
So I like maximized that property. I was able to squeeze in like 26 spots. And
what are those? Because we still got a storage facility here for semis. What does it go for a month in Nashville?
If you do month to month, it's $350. If you do a 6-month contract, it's $290.
Yep.
And then we also do daily and weekly.
Got it.
Believe it or not, we can make 3 times more off the daily rentals.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of times people will call and just need it for the night.
That's
just
nice.
need to pull off the road.
Yep.
So that's where I was getting next, actually. So once I realized the demand for truck parking, I realized I actually needed another truck parking facility.
Yep.
So I found one off of right off exit 65. So like there's Nashville, the exit that I'm at, and it's right off the exit to it.
Yep.
So it's a beautiful property. And then of course it goes straight to Clarksville. So it's like
That's good.
Some great properties right there. He was able to add 101 truck parking spots.
That's a lot.
Yeah, man. So it's definitely that's kind of my lane.
How many acres is that?
It's right at 18. But
18.
So half of it is
grass.
Half of it I've got to a tenant, and I have I'm leasing it to him separately.
Yep.
So he has his own trucking company. So he has
Got it.
it's kind of like a house, but I had his own commercial.
Sure.
So I have it leased to him, and he did again a ton of property improvements, things, and warehouse and everything on it already. So that's been a great property, man. That's definitely. Where I see me going with more of my time. I feel like at this point I get a lot more ROI on my time at this point than I do in the moving company, honestly. But I love the moving company makes all these things possible.
And I think that's big, and I'll tell you, I have a decent amount of real estate also, and it's always been my family legacy plan is real estate. I mean, when you look at the majority of wealth of America has come from real estate, whether it's they're doing it full time or they're starting off like you did, which now is turning into so much.
And it just snowballs.
Continually compounds and compounds and compounds and compounds. And it's, I have one commercial. All of mine are mostly apartments and multifamily. I don't have any single family homes. Okay. It's unbelievable how much it compounds and with very little effort. Not saying no effort, because there's some effort. Obviously you're dealing with tenants, whether they're good or bad or, whatever it is. And I've been very lucky. It sounds like you've been very lucky with really good tenants. But, when you take compound over, you think of your life in another 10 years based on how much real estate you're buying, your net worth is going to triple, quadruple, 20 times, even if you do very minimal.
Yep.
Just based on the real estate continually
once
increasing.
Their cash flow, and as long as you maintain the property, it's usually just going to keep going up while the debt keeps going down.
Yep.
And if you're doing 5-year loans, you can literally pull tax-free money every time you refi if you want it, or roll it into another property. I mean, so that's definitely a cool thing to be able to do. My goal is like 1 or 2 properties a year.
Yep.
I mean, in 30 years, assuming I live that long, that's definitely a huge exit plan to be able to do more with real estate, not have to worry about it.
Yep.
And just something that I never even realized was achievable as a kid with no money,
And I think that, so to kind of give you an idea too.
I built a storage facility too.
You built one too?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
So that was exciting. Yep. So the property that my office is at, actually, we was able to build. I built like 3 rows of storage units, a little smaller than. I mean, it's like probably half the size of the other one. This one was only 72 doors, but it's on site at our actual moving and storage facility. Yeah. So it's beautiful. Of course, it's brand new. So it's gray building, blue doors, with all of our blue trucks. It just looks gorgeous.
Yeah. Blue's not your favorite color, is it?
It is my favorite. Absolutely. Cars, trucks.
Blue's my favorite color too. So you're good.
Awesome.
So that's cool. So because you guys don't do vault storage, right? So so if you have a customer that's coming back to storage, you just take them, which is great, and you take them straight to your own facility, which is many storages, and then you put them in there. If it's a big job, they might have a couple storages, I guess, right?
Yeah, we've got from like 5x10 up to 10x50.
Okay, so you got a bunch of different sizes.
Yeah, definitely. And the best thing about that, I mean, I'm sure that works with vaulted storage as well. But when people call and they're like, hey, we're moving to a storage unit. I'm like, do you have storage yet? And they say, no, do you want to use ours? They're like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Of course we just want to use yours, So it's a good value add too. I mean, if we're full or if we're not full, we got an opening either location. Like we'll throw in a month of storage or whatever. So not only do we get the move in, we'll get the storage and the move out.
Yep.
So it's always a plus. Big thing that thankfully I didn't get into the vaulted storage. For one, it's hard to build the giant warehouse. Starting out as your first property.
Sure.
Most moving companies, they get stuck in these warehouses, stuck in these leases. Properties keep going up, the rent keeps going up, and they get stuck, honestly. Even some of I almost bought a moving company one time, and they own like no assets.
Yeah.
But they wanted so much for their name, and it's just, I couldn't make it pencil. But, it was just, that was their model, and they were like spending majority of their net just on the freaking lease of this giant warehouse. And I've just heard horror stories about that, so I'm thankful I was able to, the path that I took. I feel like it was a smarter path. I mean, if you could afford a warehouse, great. But paying rent to another person to keep growing and just that's you won't get build true wealth that way. Even though you have cash flow.
Yep. And I think that's a big thing. I mean, commercial real estate. I mean, all real estate, but commercial real estate continually goes up year after year.
Definitely.
History wise, obviously, there's been a couple of years. COVID, it's gone up exponentially. But it's if you're renting, you're hurting yourself. And you need to be able to buy as soon as you can, because the nice thing, obviously, you buying the commercial real estate, having your office and your own owned real estate, your rent doesn't go up every year.
Right.
Your mortgage.
You get to really control your actual budget.
You're controlling everything. And, the whole thing is, and I've seen it time and time, there's moving companies out there that are doing, $8 million, $10 million a year, and they have no real estate, which is crazy to me. They're renting their facility, they're doing all this, and they're ready to sell. They want to sell their place, and they're shocked that they can't get $10 million for their company. Yeah.
So I actually bought a moving company last year. Similar situation. It almost made them insolvent because the tenant was going to raise their rent like double than what it was. It was also like one was ready to check out. One guy was burned out doing all the work. So there was a multitude of things, but the rent was a big one that just sent it over the edge. Yep. So I was able to pick that business up as well, like you mentioned.
Yep. And I think that's huge. Having the ability to buy the real estate, doing it, buying it, and then continually doing where you're buying more and more, because when you're ready to sell your moving company, say one day you want to exit it, you're ready to retire, you're ready for your family, you will have so much more wealth in real estate than the moving company can ever be worth.
And luckily, it's designed so well for it. My current property is designed so well for a moving company. If I sold the moving company, whoever I sold it to would probably be my best tenant.
Because
I don't see them going anywhere the way it's set up.
Yep, that's perfect. Yep. Well, that's good. Obviously, we're at Legends Retreat. Tell me what you think so far. We're only on day 2 technically, but we got a couple days left. What do you think so far? And
I love the retreat. It's been amazing. Everybody's been super nice, accommodating. The staff, man, they're A1. The people you have
Stephen
up here.
Reed just walked in. He's kind of a pain, but
Stephen Reed, yep. What's up? Yep. I picked him up from the airport, man. Rented a vet. He's like, you got to come get me. I was like, I got you, brother. Yeah. No, it's been great, man. Everybody I've met, a lot of old faces. In this industry, the people that are hungry, that continually like to grow, you kind of see them, pretty often. Yep. I definitely met some new people. Got to meet you. You're awesome. Yep. So thankful I got to do that. Your wife, your team, Jenny, she's amazing. She's like the follow-up queen right there.
Oh, she is. She is phenomenal. We love her.
Yep. Now, the house is beautiful. If anybody's on the fence about coming to this, it's super intimate. You'll get to learn and connect with others in just a really, intimate, nice setting, and keep it like super casual. That's when real like friendships are built,
Yep. And I think that's part of why we love doing this so much. Like, not that big events aren't awesome, because any event, if you're in a moving industry, if you're in any industry, you need to be going to events, whether it's big events, small events, whatever it is. But we love doing the small event because of the intimacy. It's a lot more intimate, and us having this particular year, I think Larry's probably the biggest moving company, but almost $70 million a year, down to companies doing 10 million, 15 million, down to a couple million or $1 million. But having the ability for the guy that's doing $1 million a year to be able to sit with, Stephen Reed is doing 10 million a year, or, and then Larry sitting there doing $70 million a year. Like, there's not
all at the same table.
All at the same table eating dinner.
Yep.
There's not a lot of places that you could line that up otherwise, and everyone for the most part comes to this knowing like I'm here to help others and I'm here to receive from others. And so it's a very, there's no like shields. Like people aren't like, oh no, I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing for marketing. Right. Like, no, I'm not going to tell you how I got to 70 million. Like he's going to tell you, like, this is what I did.
Everybody's open to work with each other. I love that for sure.
And that's what we really like. So cool.
Yep.
So I think that's it, man. Thank you so much for being on, and
awesome
thank you so much for taking the time to do it. I think are you doing the bowling tournament tonight?
Is it at 8?
It's 7:30, I think. 7:30?
Oh,
it's tonight.
I was, but I have a massage at 7:30.
Well,
yeah. When I booked it, the email didn't come out yet.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Well, too much to do at Legends Retreat. So you're getting a massage tonight.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah,
well, that's
I'm
good.
excited.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Yep. Awesome.
Thanks for tuning into our podcast. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and get notified each time a new one comes out. We'll see you next time.